Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy adaptation games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm Kels.
And I'm Ash.
And we are the Adaptation Games, a Hunger Games podcast where we break down the Hunger Games films beat by beat and analyze them along with the books to understand themes, characters, and to determine just how good an adaptation these movies are. And we are officially heading into the arena. We keep saying it. We keep almost getting here, and we are officially here. Katniss has gone up in the tube, and we are now standing outside of the Cornucopia. It's finally happening.
We are properly in it now.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this episode goes, because now that we're moving into the arena, we're like really in Katniss's head in the book. And then in the movies, we're kind of stuck in Katniss's point of view. Like, we're going to get some points of view of the Capitol, right, in the control room and things like that. But, like, it's also going to pretty much keep us with Katniss for most of it. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that's going to go moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of eye acting by Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, exactly. But before we get into it, how's your week been so far? I know you've kind of had a long week, but we're at the end of it, so it's nice.
Just had a long week. A lot of like silly things have kept getting in the way, but it's ending. There's an end in sight.
Yes.
Too much admin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
But how's yours? You've had a lot of events since last time.
Yeah.
Recording.
Now that we're in the summertime and getting into it, it's event season for me. So I went to the Oboen Festival, which I think I talked about last time, with my family, and that went great. We had a great time, much smoother than last year. So everything was awesome. And I know it said it was going to be 110 degrees. We got there, it was like 80, 85.
Oh,
for most of the day.
So nice.
I don't think I have ever once been to this event when it's been under 100 degrees in my like 30 plus years of my life of going. So that was really nice. So we had a great time. And then what that meant was I came back and I went straight to Anime Expo, and that was also the coolest Anime Expo I have been to in many, many years. So at least that helped. With all the other chaos that always happens at Anime Expo. But we had a really good time. It was fun, a lot of fun stuff. I didn't spend as much money as I normally do, which is a big win for me.
Congratulations.
Thank
huge.
You. Yeah. And then the other thing is I'm going to be at San Diego Comic-Con in like 2 weeks. So it's kind of nonstop season for me.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yes. San Diego's fun. Are you looking forward to anything specifically this year?
Ooh, I don't know if you saw the announcement that the Avatar movie, Avatar, what's the name of the movie?
Oh, The Legend of Aang?
The Legend of Aang is going to be there. They're going to do the special screening, and they're going to have the big panel with all of the team and stuff. So that should be fun. My friend who just recently started coming to these cons with us, that's like his big thing. So he's like really excited to get to go to those.
Amazing.
Yeah. Percy Jackson will be there. Love Percy Jackson. I was hoping maybe that they were going to bring Sunrise on the Reaping, but Lionsgate hasn't been in a very long time, since like peak Hunger Games back in the day.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're not going to be there at all.
No. I think they moved on from the event. Sadly.
Yeah. It could have been a really good one, though, I think, this year. So
it would have been amazing.
We'll see. Maybe they'll do like a little pop-up. I don't know if you saw, but they will be hosting the first 5 movies. So the original quadrilogy of films and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in theaters in September. So
yes,
that's going to be exciting.
I am so excited. It's been so long since I've seen these in theaters. And I have a friend who hasn't seen any of the films or read any of the books.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Going.
I'm so excited.
I was like, I cannot wait for you to experience the aspect ratio change in Catching Fire. Like,
oh, yeah. It's going to be incredible. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes. We might have to, once we watch all of them, maybe we'll try to have them on so that they can give their lowdown.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
I've never experienced this before, and now I've only seen the
Yes.
movies, not read the books, but just experienced the movies and see what they think.
Oh my gosh. That would be amazing. I'm excited because when we get to the end of this book, I think we're going to have some people on, just regular people. So we'll see. Just to talk about like the fun little niche things. Like my sister and I were so into the music when all of the companion CDs came out for the films and things like that. And she suggested maybe we do like a tier list where we like rank all of the different songs. And I was like, oh my God, wait, that would be so much fun. So maybe we'll do something like that.
That would be great.
Right?
Is this the soundtrack that had like the Taylor Swift with the Civil Wars?
Yeah, the Civil Wars, Taylor Swift.
She somehow got them back together. We'll go into
there's
later,
like a whole thing. I'll tell you this. My sister would probably know better than I would. So we should maybe have her on and she can go through it with us.
I like it.
But yeah, I've been listening to the album kind of just on repeat in the background recently. So that would be awesome.
Yes.
But I'm so excited for your friend to see them because their reactions are always so fun to any pop culture that we show them that I'm so interested to see what they think about the Hunger Games.
Yeah. It's been really fun because I've been introducing them to superhero movies via the ones that I really like that happen to be in theaters, which is Superman, Supergirl, Thunderbolts.
Right.
And they're like, oh, superhero movies are so fun. I was like, not always. Not always.
You should go see Masters of the Universe. I feel like I said this the other week, but that one I feel like you guys would both love. But I didn't understand any of the references really besides some of the She-Ra stuff that I knew. But like there
if
is
it's not referencing the Netflix She-Ra, I will not know it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, so it's going to be a busy time. So we're hoping to backlog a bunch of these episodes in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Which will be good because we had such a long break between stuff. So now that we're going to actually be in the games, again, it'll be just interesting to see how this flow goes for us.
Yeah, but if you are going to San Diego Comic-Con, let us know, reach out. Love to swing by and say hi.
Yeah. That would be amazing. I'll be there. So, and I love meeting people. I'll say this. That's how I got my current job. Is I met people at San Diego Comic-Con and I just talked to them, and I love talking to people in general there. So we would love to meet you.
Yes, afraid I will not be there because I hate waiting in line.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ash came last year and we got through the end of the con and they go, this was great, I'll come back in like 10 years after I get over the lines.
I had a great time, no thank you.
Yeah. And I'll say this, it's not even that bad. Like Anime Expo is a whole different beast compared to Comic-Con. So like Comic-Con is like one of the chillest ones I go to out of all the cons I go to. So,
amazing.
Yeah. But anyways, now that we are finally here, we are excited to be talking about the arena. I feel like excited is almost the wrong word, though, because we're about to get into all the kids dying.
Look, it's fictional,
so,
okay?
Excited to talk about the way that all this stuff is going to happen. So
the way all the kids die.
Yeah. But we don't jump straight into the kids dying, okay?
No.
Basically we left off, Katniss was rising through the tube after she says goodbye to Cinna, right? And we cut into the control room where they say like, okay, they're in the tubes. We talked about this a little bit, right? This is where we're going to start getting people who I would consider observers. These are like, you know, the in-game camera people who are going to be tracking their individual tributes and things like that. And we start to get some of the really interesting shots that they're going to start doing from the directing side, right? Which is you get a lot of the first person POV stuff here. So we get that as we're coming out of the tube, right? We're seeing the concrete as Katniss raises up and sort of back into that bright white light, which we had last time as well, where when her and Haymitch are coming out of the elevator, it's like a bright white light, kind of like getting to the end of the tunnel sort of deal. And it takes a while for the camera to adjust to like the exposure before it's like as if Katniss is blinking, she's really dazed. As it comes into focus where it's like we see the forest a little bit, we see the I guess meadow where the cornucopia is, right?
Yeah,
where it's more
clearing.
flat land. Yeah. And we start to see the other kids that are also on their pedestals as we start hearing the countdown for when they can begin the games. Yeah. It's interesting in the book, I believe it's Claudius Templesmith that's doing the countdown, but in the movie, it's just a random young dude in the control room. And it's so interesting the cut that they do because it's in the control room. It's just him speaking in his normal voice like this. But then when you hear it going out to the tributes, it's like this weird, not auto-tuned. I guess auto-tuned is the right word, but right, like there's voice effects on him to make him sound like loud and intimidating and really deep voiced. Whereas it's like totally normal. He's like 59, 58, and then you go into the arena, it's like 59, 58. Like, it's really interesting.
It is interesting. I actually kind of really like that choice. One, because it's so jarring, but two, I mean, it's jarring because this is like, he also kind of looks like a kid. Like he's maybe like, what, 20? So he's just a bit older than these people, and the voice makes him sound so much older and like the voice of the Capitol, which in a way he is the voice of the Capitol. He is like, what he is doing matches the tone of that auto-tune voice, but then you cut and it's just a kid.
Yeah.
And everyone in the control room is pretty young. I think.
It's not like when Plutarch is in there. And I think when Plutarch is in there, there's like some older game makers and things like that. Like Seneca is young, and he clearly hires a young crew.
Yeah.
Which
he does
we talked about why that's
count
important.
on. He does make sure he has the best beard, far and away.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's I love the distortion between like what's happening in the control room versus what the people are experiencing, the kids are experiencing.
Yeah. And again, it's like that clean cut, very tech heavy, like nothing can touch them there, right? Whereas we're about to see just how bloody and dirty it's going to get for the tributes, which is, again, a lot of contrast. And it's interesting because right now we don't really have any music happening, whereas the music beforehand has been like a lot of that difference, right? The difference between the capital and the districts and things like that.
Yeah, we have like a lot of sound, but not like music.
Right, exactly. We do get a cut from the control room of this kid doing the countdown and things like that too, to all the Capitol citizens who are dressed up. They're partying. Basically, they're all like sitting at a sports bar. Essentially, it's the bar that we saw during the betting scene, right? That's like in the center there, out at that square or whatever. And how they're like so excitedly watching the countdown. Everybody's smiling, everybody's drinking, everybody's having a good time. And then they cut to like a split screen of some of the tributes, right, in the control room and things like that. And then when it cuts back, instead of going back to Capitol citizens, we do get a cut to the district citizens who are also watching, right? And that is a huge contrast, where there's still no music or anything like that, but it's just much more somber. They're all holding each other for comfort. No one is talking. There's young kids to old people. We get a wider shot with the peacekeepers that are like in the crowd, keeping them in line. And it's just such a great contrast.
Yes. Yeah, there's it's, how do I put this? It's so nice to have this contrast built in to even just the start of the games, because it's so easy to get lost in the games themselves that you kind of like forget what's actually happening in the wider story and what the whole trilogy is going to pursue. But by adding these scenes where it's showing the audience, the control room, the citizens, it really emphasizes that distortment between what Katniss is going to experience and then when she gets out of it, the different reactions.
Yeah. And we don't just get to see the regular citizens, right, of the district. We cut to a private projector where we see Prim and their mom watching her on the projector screen. What looks like could be at her house, they could be at somebody else's house, right? Like maybe they give them a projector so they can watch it privately as the tribute family. Who knows? They don't ever really explain it. But Prim is not watching the screen. She's like hyper focused on her mom, who is then in turn hyper focused on watching Katniss on the screen.
100%. Yeah. I think that's a good choice, especially as Prim is the caregiver, making sure that like she's taking over Katniss's role, but in an emotional way instead of Katniss was just in like a you shall physically eat and stay alive way.
Yeah. And then I do think this is a good choice. I think it's an interesting choice. All the noise cuts out, so we were hearing like background noise and the countdown, and essentially the broadcast, right, while we're seeing all these citizens and things like that. But then it cuts to Gale, who is sitting in the same meadow that we saw of him and Katniss at the beginning of the film, and it's just total silence while he's out there, overlooking the forest. And then we will get like a match cut essentially to Katniss looking out at the cornucopia and the forest behind it, in the arena. So I think visually it's a really interesting choice. I think we've talked about this. Why is Gale not being forced to watch the games with everybody else? But
yeah, I
mean, I
didn't think it was optional, but
yeah. I think it's explained away by the fact that District 12 is so lax, their peacekeepers are. And if they know Gale that well, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. That's basically his girl, right? Just let him go pout about it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. This moment of silence is so interesting because it also brings to focus the forest. And we're going to be in the forest for the whole time for the rest of this, but it's a very different forest.
Yeah.
I think it's a reminder of like a forest that is home. It's also a moment of calm. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this shot because it's so specific. And we linger on it for a solid amount, but I really like it.
Mm-hmm. I do too. I'm like, oh yeah. Every time I see Gale, I'm like, why do we have to see you? But it's like, whenever they do put him in the movie, it's pretty good choice-wise, I think. Yeah. And the framing is just really good. Like previously, he had been framed, obviously not central to the camera, because Katniss was in frame with him. But now it's just him, so he's pretty centered in the frame. So I think choices like that are really interesting.
I wonder too if it's a way for him to haunt the narrative because she's in the forest and we're going to cut to her running through and like drinking water and making traps and stuff. Like this is a very visual callback to be like, remind the whole Gale connection and how she's connected to the forest.
Yeah. I mean, and we've been talking about him a lot. Obviously, we talked about him a lot when he shows up in the Capitol in the script. But even like when we talked about the Rose Garden scene, right? Like that replaced the whole backstory about her and Gale. So we really haven't had to think about him in quite some time in the movie, because they really emphasize him a lot less in the film. Like even whatever week it was that we talked about this 1 or 2 episodes ago, where Peeta essentially will be like, oh, she's just upset that her boyfriend might have seen the interview, right? Like they don't say that in the movie. They say that in the book, but we have about Gale since she left home, since her goodbye with him. So it is a good cutback to also, one, it's going to visually remind you like Katniss is really good at this. Katniss is really good at being in the woods, even though we only saw her there for however long that was, right? Like a couple of minutes. But yeah, just a good reminder of she's going to be really good and really competent in the woods. It'll be interesting because we're about to see her make a snare, which we don't hear her say in the film that this is a skill that she learns from Gale, right? But it is where she learns it. So even if we're not going to get that information told to us visually, we're going to like have some kind of narrative tie to him, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But we get all of that while Katniss is just standing there listening to the countdown, which I love. Love these cutaways. I think they're fantastic. Again, I think we said this in one of our episodes. Like these cutaways to the control room and these other points of view justify the making of the film in my eyes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. They add so much. The control room alone, I think, justifies it, let alone everything
and
else.
then add in the Rose Garden scenes and you're like, oh, damn. they really did the thing.
This is
crazy.
A trilogy. There are things. Yeah. We are going somewhere.
Yeah. Because in the book, when she's standing on the pedestal, she is running through all of the strategies in her brain where she's like, well, you know what? Haymitch has never seen me run. Maybe I should go for the bow. He doesn't know how fast I am. And it's like, girl, no. And
no.
So she's going through this whole inner monologue and it's like, oh my God, girl, please.
I love that she remains Delulu, but you know, let's focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like that's all done Like, what takes a paragraph in the book takes about 3 seconds of cutting footage, where it's just cut, cut, cut. You can see where Katniss is looking because we're doing first person of like, oh, there's the bow. Hold it. Oh, Peeta says, don't do it. She goes, why not? And then
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because this is the first interaction she's going to have with Peeta after the window scene when they were having their little bonding moment. And in the movie, obviously that ended a lot better than it did in the book, where Katniss pisses him off and he pisses her off, and they separate not on great terms. In the movie, they do separate on pretty good terms. They're like, okay, yeah, see you tomorrow, I guess, because we have to, you know.
Yeah.
And
don't die.
so like him shaking his head here really does feel like in the book, I do think she still is like, why is he saying that? And then, damn it, I missed my opportunity because he distracted me. Whereas here, it feels a lot more like he really is just trying to help, you know?
Yeah, he's trying to remind her of the strategy.
Yeah.
That she knows her side of.
Yeah. And we are getting the cut around to see all the tributes who are sort of prepping to run off of their pedestals, but have yet to move.
Yes. There's a lot of them, and we're gonna lose a lot of them in about 5 minutes. So
yeah.
Don't get attached.
We will lose half, which is crazy to think about for an event of this kind. Half in the first 10 minutes is wild.
And like that has to be standard. This is not an unusual games.
Yeah. And I love the choices they make when we're cutting around to all the tributes. We're getting like instead of music, right? We've talked a lot about this. There's sound effects instead that are going to be happening, which is an odd ringing noise, as if like Katniss's ears are ringing, will be happening instead. As we're kind of like getting a wide shot of all the kids standing on their pedestals, like, and we can hear the countdown, but there's this odd ringing sound that's just going to keep going even when the countdown ends and they're like running off of their pedestals. It will still not cut to music. It will keep this odd ringing noise, and it'll essentially muffle all of that noise around her while this is happening.
Yeah, a lot of the sound is like that ringing noise, and then what if like a lemur went into a percussion closet and there's just kang, 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 kang. Like it's just overwhelming how much sound and discordant sound is happening. It's really hard to focus on anything, especially because the camera is swinging wildly.
Yeah. The first thing we'll see is that Peeta immediately turns tail and runs into the woods, as he should. Whereas Katniss freezes.
Katniss
immediately freezes like a deer in headlights.
We had a plan.
Yeah. But she freezes, and before we see what she decides to do, we already are going to get the first kills. And like, you're like, is she freezing because we're already seeing this level of violence? Or like, what is happening here? But it's like, this is where the shaky cam really comes into play. This is where I think the shaky cam works the best. Like we talked at the beginning of the film, it's a lot. It really makes you feel a little sick. And you're like, what's happening? Like, why are we moving so much? But here, it matches the tone of what's happening a lot more, where it's
the
like
frantic pace. It like leans well to shaky cam.
Yeah,
I'd say it's still not my favorite because it's going all over the place. But I think like this isn't a John Wick. Like these kids aren't bowling through each other. This is just child on child, claws, nails, whatever they can do.
Yeah, and it's like there's going to be a lot of blood, especially when you compare them to PG-13 movies nowadays that really try to scrub that stuff out. I mean, there's a lot of blood immediately off the bat, and I'm like, man, if they had just straight up showed those shots, though, I don't know that they could have managed a PG-13 rating. Like, I think they would have had to up the rating.
Yeah, whatever's above that teen. I don't know.
No, it's R. It just jumps straight from PG-13 to R. And then there's, I think NC-17 is above R, technically.
That does make sense, because PG-13 is essentially teen. It's, I mean, it's still cutting away. You don't see anything specifically. They lean heavily into the blood spatter, which I think is a good choice. But yeah, the camera swinging around is kind of following the weapons as it's happening or as the tributes are dropping. So there's a lot of implicated like movement and impact in the way that the camera's moving.
Yeah, like we see Marvel hacking away at a kid on the ground, blood on his sword, blood spewing out of the kid, but we just don't really like sit on it too long because we're cutting to the next death basically immediately, which is Kato also stabbing another kid and blood is splattering everywhere around him. Um, I just think it's important to point out how much blood there is because some people think it was really scrubbed down. Like,
Mm.
is this scrubbed down from Katniss's point of view? Yes, but we're not trying to traumatize everybody the way that Katniss has been traumatized. And also, like, compare it to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. We get there, and they will not show a drop of blood for almost the whole movie, and I think it's still rated PG-13.
Weak.
So, yeah. Like, when did Harry Potter even start getting the PG, past PG?
Oh, I couldn't tell
Technically
you.
past 4, and they don't show blood until
It didn't really get
7.
violent until like 6 or 7. And plus it's
Yeah.
magic violence, so it's sort of like
Yeah,
eh.
like I think 4 because Cedric dies gets like a PG-13 rating, and that's bloodless. And then by the time we get to 6 or 7, when they're like torturing Hermione, there's barely any blood on screen, anyways. Even though she's like literally carving mudblood into her veins, like
Crazy.
you're mostly exposed, incredibly bleed hard veins.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I think, especially for the
Fascinating.
time, I just think that the amount of blood that they're showing on screen is pretty intense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
choice of having a lot of the deaths be like the young kids. Like
Oh
Kato
yeah.
full on, I think, slits the throat of like clearly like probably like 10-year-old. I know it's like 12 is the minimum, but that kid looks so young.
Yeah. We see, basically, we'll see like the shaky cam is cutting around to the careers, starting to look at all the supplies that are in the cornucopia, and you really see just how set up they're going to be, like how many weapons they have in there, how many boxes of supplies they have in there. And you see the little 12-year-old boy, right, who we've been kind of comparing to Rue a lot. You see him like crawling around in there, like trying to escape or get supplies or something, and you're like, "Ugh, this is not going to end well."
And it doesn't.
And yeah, it's still that ringing noise is happening. Katniss finally makes a choice while this kid is crawling around in the cornucopia, and she sees another girl grab a pack and run. I don't even know who that girl is. Like, I couldn't tell you. I don't even know if we've
No.
seen her on screen before, but she grabs a pack and she runs. And so Katniss is like, oh, I'm going to do the same. So she runs, grabs it, immediately trips, and a kid comes at her with an axe before he is hit by a knife from Clove from behind directly into his back. And she throws her second knife at Katniss, where it gets stuck in the pack, and she's able to pick it up and run, right? So that's all happening very quickly. And then we cut back to that 12-year-old again, who's inside the cornucopia, who's like watching the careers take out another kid in there, and he's still trying to hide. So you're like really building up to the fact, it's not even like, oh, this 12-year-old's getting wiped out right away. We're really building up to the fact that Kato is going to kill this kid shortly.
Yeah, and
Which,
violently.
and
with joy, because
violently.
he kills this kid and then immediately goes for like the Roman sword. Like he's looking
Yeah.
at professional weaponry. Like this,
Mhm.
I think they immediately build him up to an amazing villain because he just is a machine. He's mowing through people and then he immediately, with a smile, goes for the professional weapons.
Yeah. And Katniss manages to make her run for the woods with the pack, but we also even get a cut to Thresh, who made it all the way into the cornucopia, grabs some supplies, hits a kid. Do we know what happens to that kid? No, he doesn't hit him with the sharp end of whatever weapon he grabs. It's a really interesting looking weapon. I'm sure we could look up what it is and somebody could explain it to us, but it's not like a normal sword or axe. I think in the books maybe it's like something made for like the fields, you know?
Yeah,
Like something
like
to mimic that.
scythe adjacent.
Yeah, something like that. And so he hits the kid, but it's not like what we've been seeing from these other career tributes where they're like slicing these kids to kill them and things like that. And Katniss is still running away, and she is sprinting and full on sprints straight into Foxface. I mean, the most painful looking collision I've ever seen.
Shout out to I assume it's stunt the stunt team. The stunt team's going to take over and do amazing things for the rest of this. But that collision, I think it was just painful. There's no way to make that not painful.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. because all the kids went to training camp together. That's kind of why they're so close, and a lot of the
Oh,
chemistry is so good. They sent them to essentially boot camp, stunt boot camp for several weeks. So that's why it's so interesting to watch this opening scene because it is them. There's obviously some
oh,
stunt doubles that are going to be put in, but a lot of those kids, at least like in the tripping and the like pretending to hit each other and stuff, like that's them. Um,
amazing. Yeah, I
I
guess if their
know.
face is being shown, it's probably
Yeah.
them.
Even when we're getting the shaky cam, they're like, we're going to still make sure that you can see these kids, right? And see how young they
That's
are.
crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, with Fox, I don't know if those are stunt doubles who sprint into each other because we don't see their faces for a couple of seconds because that did look so painful. And they hit the ground so hard. And then they immediately, I mean, I love this scene between the two of them where they're just like looking at each other like, are, are we going to attack? Are we going to run? Like, what are we going to do? Like, we don't know. Um, and they eventually choose to run. And that's a movie only thing too. I don't think that happens in the book at all.
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think it
I
does
think
because she
so.
just runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sprints into the woods. I like that in the movie you do see like you run into Foxface because we have to introduce her.
Yeah.
And then you also as she's running, you see another tribute that we'll never see again running in the woods kind of adjacent to her.
Yeah.
So it's like it's urgent that she just like
Get up and
sprints.
move. Yeah. And this is the part where when they're looking at each other to decide, like, are they going to get up and run or not? This is the moment that the ambient noise kicks back in. The music's not going to kick back in, but like the ringing sound kind of ends after this. And we can hear kids screaming in the distance and like the fighting noises really clearly all of a sudden before Katniss gets up and runs again. Yeah. It's
We're
super
off.
interesting.
Yeah.
We're off. Um, But we cut back, we see Glimmer actually is being attacked. She's being like choked out by somebody, and Marvel kills whoever it is. Um, and then this is where we get the other 12-year-old trying to make a run for it with his supply pack, and Kato just like creeping up behind him essentially to cut him down with whatever weapon he has. And then you're right, like him looking around like joy to see all the weapons that are in there. And then it's interesting because when he's cutting down the kid, we will get the cut of the ambient noise again, and it'll go back to the ringing sound. So we don't really
Mm.
necessarily hear like the thud of him hitting his body and things like that, which I also think is a great choice.
Yeah, that's cool. It kind of shows like where the adrenaline is and where it isn't.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a reminder of that bloodbath. But yeah, it is very fun. I use that term again to see the careers
Yeah.
being careers. Uh,
Yeah.
like we've heard so much about these careers. Like, gosh, they've just trained their whole lives for this, and then we get to see it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, they have. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
Uh,
here's Katniss making snares in the woods. Oh boy.
well, here's Katniss. She's running parallel adjacent to that person you were talking about, and because she sees this person, she makes a hard turn and she falls down this giant hill, giant ass hill. Just
Speaking of stunt
immediately
people,
tumbles straight down it. Yeah.
I
um,
don't. Stunt people are amazing. I don't understand them.
yes.
I don't want to do that.
They're so much fun to listen to. They always have a big panel every year at San Diego Comic-Con, actually. So, and we go
Yeah.
most years whenever we get the chance, and they're so much fun to listen to.
Oh, I think I attended that one. It was super fun.
Oh yeah, you did last year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, huge respect to stunt people. But yeah, this fall is amazing. It's just head over heels. It's very classic.
And then you know that the adrenaline is running because she gets to the bottom of the hill after she falls for like a solid minute, and then she just gets up and she keeps running because she's like, gotta go, gotta move. We don't know who's behind us.
Nope.
Yeah.
I just made a lot of noise.
Yep. Oh yeah, so much noise.
Yeah.
But then it finally is a little bit quiet again when she's running away, and we get the shots of all of the dead tributes laying in the field, like with their bodies twisted and mangled and the blood, and it hangs for a bit, which is
Yeah.
surprising.
It is good because we just had the most frantic camera movements, the craziest noises, Zaboomafoo in the percussion closet. So we haven't had a
Yeah.
chance to like sit on what happened. So you do need this beat to like really sit on like what actually happened here, who's down. We're gonna learn that 12 kids died, and you have to show it too. Otherwise, it's just these are just numbers.
Yeah. And because we still don't know, we don't know the count yet. We're just Katniss in this moment. We just don't even know what's happening, just what we saw very briefly in the chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I
it's
think,
also, it's nice to cut away. Like we have these cutaways like, oh, the control room. Oh, this Katniss. This is a shot for the audience.
yeah,
This is purely for us as a reminder.
yeah. The only thing in the book that they don't really include that I think is interesting is that she picks up a loaf of bread along with the backpack and then she drops it. Um, I'm like,
Oh.
my brain wants to draw the connection between Peeta and the bread, right? Because he's the bread boy. But we're not going to focus on it for too long because I'm sure we
Oh,
could
well.
talk about it for forever. But
The loaf dropped. Don't
yeah,
worry, we'll find our bread again.
yeah. um, but yeah, after we get that great moment of just not even a second to breathe, just to reflect on what just happened. We cut back to Katniss, who finally slows down and is able to sit down and look through the pack where she has the rope, the empty water bottle, like a tarp, wire, matches, all these things that you're like, oh, these could be really useful.
And a
Especially
fun
considering.
knife.
And she gets the fun knife from Clove. Thank you, Clove.
Thank you, Clove. So
But the
kind.
matches are a great callback to Haymitch saying like a match could save your life. Like that's how important it is that she got these supplies, right? And then she hears the first cannon boom while she's going through this, and that's when we cut to Claudius and Caesar. We get a timer that shows that 3.5 hours has passed in the short amount of time that we've seen on screen. And showing the fallen district headshots in the background, right, of all the kids. And I love the line, there's the familiar boom of the cannon. Again, cutting from like that stuff to how excited they are talking about it. Always such a great contrast. To be like, oh right. We were watching that and kind of disgusted and a little afraid, and they're watching it and they're excited.
Yeah, and it's also a nice way to explain the boom of the cannons, because that is important. Like, it's important to know when someone's actually dead.
Yeah.
Especially for Cato's death. But I do love that they're like, the familiar boom of the cannon. You're like, oh, okay, I guess it's familiar.
Yeah, because like likely every capital citizen and every citizen watching knows what the cannon means, right?
Do you think that there's definitely some capital citizens that have that as their like wake up alarm?
Oh, absolutely. Like they keep it on their phone as they're like, yeah, this is how I wake up every day.
Oh my God.
Or like their text alert. They were like, oh my God, what is that?
They assign it to their ex or whatever.
Oh my God. Somebody you don't want to hear from. Like, I'd rather die than speak to this person.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. I think it's interesting we see Katniss counting along silently with the booms. And she counts 12, which you can see on the subtitles. In the book, it's only 11, so I don't know why they changed the number of tributes that are dead. I guess maybe because we can see how many tributes are no longer going to be around, I guess, for a little while.
I do love how exaggeratedly they have Jennifer Lawrence counting, like 12.
Oh, yeah. You know what? She's barely gone to school. She doesn't pay attention. She's like, I need to make sure I'm counting correctly.
District 12's school has to be horrendous.
Oh God, can only imagine.
Yeah.
And then I love this part. She sees a butterfly. It like lands near her. It's like bright blue. And she like picks it up briefly to look at it, and then it flies away. It's just like one moment of her being like, oh, look how pretty, which is really important when we get to like Sunrise on the Reaping and stuff like that, and the bunny rabbit with Haymitch and like all of this other stuff.
Oh.
But I had totally forgotten this shot was in the movie. Just randomly.
Yeah, it is nice because we've slowed down. We're like, okay, calm down, take a breather. This is now Katniss realizing she's in her element, which it's kind of fun because the Capitol wouldn't know that this is her element. Like we have no evidence that they know that she's been jumping the fence. Like obviously the peacekeepers in District 12 probably know, but they don't really care because they get squirrels and stuff. But the actual Capitol doesn't. So it's like, oh, like she is familiar. She's connecting with the environment through this butterfly.
Yeah. And then contrasting that with what she's thinking in the books, which is about how one of the heaviest days of betting is opening day when all these tributes are going down. which is just interesting to think
Yeah,
about.
book Katniss is going through it way more than movie Katniss, which is kind
Yeah,
of funny.
yeah, yeah. Movie Katniss was like, "Oh, look at this butterfly," and book Katniss is like, "This is when they bet on all the dead children, but it doesn't even compare to the later days when the pool starts to like, close." You're like, "Oh, right, right, okay, great,
Okay.
yeah."
Oh,
Um, Love that. And then
yeah.
I always think this is interesting. I was going to ask you about this in the
Mm.
book because she's like, "Oh, I didn't really get any food or anything," or she gets food, but she's trying to ration it. Um, a lot. She eats pine. Is that like a thing you can do?
I
Survivalist
love
over
that you
there
ask
on the
me.
trails?
I need you to know that the PCT I was carrying, so I was eating nerd gummy clusters. I was not surviving. There's no like, I picked some blueberries, but there's no going into the woods and like picking things and then eating them. there's, I'm busy
Okay, well,
walking.
I need you to do these things and know these things
Okay.
because what if we ever got stuck out there?
Remind
You,
me, is she chewing lightly on the pine needles? Like just like
no,
mashing
the
them up a
pine
little?
bark. She like gets the pine bark
Oh.
and she's like eating the pine bark.
I'm trying to think of what I've read from John Muir because he made pine
Yeah,
needle tea. That was his specialty. He added loaf of bread
right,
and pine needle tea and a hope and a dream. Um,
right.
I assume like pine bark you can. I've never been inclined to start eating bark, so I'll let you know.
Yeah. That would be like a you're desperate for some
Yeah.
nutrients. So I'm curious to maybe we'll read up on it or something, but
Yeah.
I am curious
I
because
have
in the
an old SAS survival handbook. I'll look through it.
yes. Oh, I have one of those giant survival handbooks from one of the survivalist guys I had on that YouTube show I used to produce.
Oh yeah.
I have it somewhere in the house. Him and his wife sent me one for free.
Oh my
So I'm
god.
always like, maybe I should read it to be prepared.
No,
Just in
the key is to
case.
have it on you when shit goes down. You
Yeah,
can't
I
just
don't think I would
memorize
carry
it.
that with me if that was the case. We would hunker down here. We would see how long Mochi would last, and then we would maybe exit the life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it would have to be for me.
Yeah.
But because Katniss is not eating pine in the movie, we see her entering her survival mode, which is finding the damp moss. She finds her way to water pretty quickly, which is obviously going to be different than the book. We'll kind of get there and talk about that at the end. Um, like we see her setting up traps. She catches a squirrel basically immediately. We don't know how long she's been waiting for the squirrel to get captured, but she cooks it up, stamps out the fire, climbs a tree.
Yeah.
And where she
The
ties herself down with a
emphasis
rope.
is 100% on this is her element. She is
Yeah.
Katnissing. This is Katniss
Yeah.
at her prime. The book, not so much.
Yeah. In the book, you're like, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
She thinks she's gonna die.
You're like, I know there's a lot of extra book, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. I guess we could talk about it here, the water thing. Like in the book,
Yeah, why not?
she is like struggling for days, it seems like, to find water. Like at
Yeah.
least a solid day because she sleeps. And then she wakes up and she's still thirsty. And she's like, oh my God, everything hurts. I hate it. I know I'm dying of dehydration. Why is Haymitch not sending me anything? Like she's so pissed.
Yeah, it's a more accurate telling. But also I think it's important in the book to show, like the movie is like, okay, she's in her element, we're good. The book is taking a totally different stance and saying like, very explicitly saying that, oh, the game makers have set it up this way. Like the way that the arena is set up directs kids to each other for necessary like goods, including water.
Yeah.
So she's not going to find water by wandering away from everyone. She's going to find water where people are, which is how these conflicts and these fights happen and how the games end. So I think it's amazing in the book. I really like the book's depiction of her just like, she's lost. She knows the woods, sort of. But these are not real woods. These are man-made, created woods. So they don't work by the same rules.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, I think this technically all happens after the moment we're about to get to, which is her being in the tree and seeing Peeta and stuff like that. But she is like, my thoughts turn to Prim. It's likely she won't be watching me live, but they'll show updates at school during lunch. And she's like, and they will be watching me because if nothing else exciting is happening, we talked about this last week, then they will be showing me dying of dehydration because it's the most interesting thing that's happening right now.
Which is sad because I don't think dying of dehydration is like the most interesting thing to watch.
No, no. But they're like, we do have to capture the death on camera.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Absolutely.
And she, because of the pack that she picked up, she had water purifying tablets. So she has to sit there and wait for the water to purify and then she can finally drink the water. But we're getting all this like, she knows she has to drink slow. She shouldn't drink it fast. Like she knows all of these things to like get through it. Like she sees the animals are still in her area. So she's like, so there has to be water somewhere because they're out here and they're not all just going back to the lake. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the addition of the water purification tablets because water in the woods is not good for you, y'all.
No. Don't do that, kids.
Don't be drinking it. Don't be doing that.
And also be careful if you have like just random contraptions, like life straws or whatever they're called aren't always the best depending on where you are. So just be aware.
I mean, if you want to know the details, there's 2 types of water purification. Well, 3, but the 2 ones that most people use. There's the ones that she's using, which is the tablets. So that focuses on, oh gosh, I don't use these, so I don't know them very well because I like my water to not taste like iodine or bleach.
Not a fun
but essentially,
taste.
No, not a fun taste. But you drop them in, you wait 30 minutes, it essentially takes apart any viruses. But there are certain things that some water purification will get, so there's some that it won't. So sometimes you have to double purify where you run it through a filter first and then add in the tablets. It's a whole thing.
And it's interesting, but just before you talk about the other version, it's interesting because they give her the tablets, meaning it's not like they're pumping fresh water into the arena that they're controlling, right? Like they're expecting that to maybe get a tribute.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is can be a very slow and painful death depending on what they put in that damn water.
Yeah, I think if that's what kills you in the Hunger Games, this is a really long games.
Well, I don't know. We're only on day 2 and she's like, I'm going to die. I can't keep going without this water. After having run, because she ran for like 6 hours the prior day with 0 hydration.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, there's a lot of standing water in at least the book. I think she drinks out of a pond or 2. And that's what you definitely need. Well, you also need it in running water, but anyway, it is just interesting that like they have an actual like survival kit available with all the things that you need, including like the tarp and the canteen are probably the most important, but it's fun, all the stuff that they've thrown into the cornucopia to just be like, well, give this a go.
Yeah and we'll see in Catching Fire how important that becomes with the water and all the other stuff, right? And so then instead of us getting kind of these monologues about the cameras being on her and things like that, because she's like, I can't see them. Instead, when Katniss climbs up into that tree, we hear a little bit of a mechanical whirring and she turns and there's a knot in the tree and that knot has a camera in it that's watching her.
Which is a great way, super great way to show like, oh, this is an arena. It's creepy as hell. That camera's so creepy. And then the cut to her full face in the camera in the control room and you just see her like, what's this?
Yeah. And then that's when we hear the game makers or whoever's in the control room start kind of like, they're all talking about like calling out positions of where the tributes have now settled for the night. And we see one of them dragging the projections of those who died. They just take their little hologram, and they just drag it over to the arena hologram. And that's how then it starts up the nighttime who died, whatever you would call it. Not
the
tribute,
the
but
RuPaul's. I've only watched like one episode of RuPaul, but
yeah.
You have been eliminated. It is really fun to see like, oh, this is a projection. That also establishes the sky as a screen, which is not important in this games, but very important in the next. So it's just fun to see the technology that's employed. Like, you think, oh, it's in the woods, like whatever. But no, like everything here is technology.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it just shows just how much control they are going to keep over the arena. Because, like, near the end, Peeta's like, why is it turning to nighttime? It's way too early for it to be night. And you're like, because they can control that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
We see that it ends at District 9, and so we know that Peeta is still alive. And in the book, she's like, I'm relieved Peeta's alive. I tell myself again that if I get killed, his winning will benefit my mother and Prim the most. This is what I tell myself to explain the conflicting emotions that arise when I think of Peeta.
Girl.
Oh, we're back on the BS Katniss. I see how it is. You
Yeah.
guys had one argument, and you're like, don't know how I feel again.
She's so funny. I love Katniss.
I know, truly.
I can't blame her. I'd probably also be saying something dumb like that to myself.
Right. And we see that Katniss is strapped in. She's managed to get some shut-eye. Her eyes have been closed. And she is awoken by something and sees that someone has lit a fire nearby. She literally rolls her eyes. And I love, in the book, she is literally plotting this girl's death. She is like, what a goddamn moron. Who did that? Now we are both in danger of getting killed because the girl lights the fire basically directly below Katniss's tree where she is sleeping. And Katniss is like, I'm gonna kill this girl. She's like, what's happening?
Katniss like, actually, I don't have a problem with murder anymore. Not that I really did, but no.
Yeah. And then we see the girl in the movie warming her hands against the fire. Not really a kid we've seen in the training or anything like that. But we see the career pack pull up on her as like a full crew. And like Cato literally like hands over his sword to Glimmer because he supposedly is going to go kill her with his bare hands for fun. Which is okay.
I mean, that's a good way to make him a villain.
Yep. So we hear the girl scream and the cannon go off. Cut to Caesar. 13 gone in the first 8 hours.
Crazy. I like, if I remember correctly in the book, the cannon doesn't go off immediately.
No, because Peeta's gonna have to turn around and kill her.
Yeah.
Which is
so it's interesting that they don't have him do that in the movie.
Yeah. I think they're trying to keep, whether they're just trying to keep his hands a little cleaner or because they just don't want to have to cut back to the same scene again. Who knows?
Fair.
Yeah. But it's because instead what we get is the cut to Claudius and Caesar talking, where he's like, and Claudius, I think I see an alliance forming. And it's like, because we haven't really heard the term alliance yet or allies at all. Because again, Haymitch doesn't tell Peeta and Katniss to make alliances at all. So we don't really know that that's like maybe a thing that happens consistently. So this is really our moment to get that instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's more important. But yeah, it's fun to see the career pack, and then we get betrayal. Traitor.
Yeah. Betrayal Part 2, I called it, because the first time was when he was like, I no longer want to train with Katniss. Betrayal. And now this is Betrayal Part 2.
Amazing.
And it's interesting because we get to see Glimmer and Cato really flirting with each other, kind of. Like they're kind of playfully pushing each other and like talking about what happened with the girl. And then that's when Cato turns and calls out, hey, lover boy. And Peeta walks out of the woods. You sure she went this way? Yeah, I'm sure that was her snare we found back there. And you're like, Peeta! Oh my goodness.
You're also like, damn it, Katniss has been leaving a trail. Like, you're like, oh, she's in her element. And she's leading them directly to her. Great, cool.
Yeah. Well, she's not used to being the hunted. She's the hunter.
No.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the close-up that then get of Katniss's face where she just looks like so betrayed again by Peeta. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so juicy. Yeah. She's
so juicy.
Pissed.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's been a while since I've talked about it, but I'll watch like a lot of people reacting to these for the first time, right? So I'm really interested when your friend reacts.
Yeah.
Like, did you buy that Peeta wasn't on her side anymore? Because a lot of people are like, damn, Peeta, really? And you're like, oh, you really thought that he was like doing this to hunt her down. Or
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
protect his own skin, not necessarily to protect Katniss in any way.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
it's
there are
a
people
pretty...
that straight up don't trust Peeta until after the games are over. And even then, some people are still like, I don't know that I trust him. And I'm like, great, that means the movie was very successful in doing what it was supposed to do,
Yes.
which is make you be Katniss in relation to how you feel about Peeta.
Yeah, 100%. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy is something.
Yeah.
I don't think Ally is it, but he's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very fun. I love that they kind of like pull him in that way. I think it's so juicy to have Peeta work with the careers because I mean, his primary skill is charisma, so
Right.
he's well suited to allies.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
are actively plotting his death, but he's well suited to allies.
But he's there enough. He's still there. He's alive, so he has to
He's
be doing
still
something
there.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of wonder, he ran off into the woods and then what happened? Like, how did he
Right.
go full circle?
Right. Like, did he wait until all the killing ended and all the bodies got picked up and then go back and be like, I can help you find Katniss if you let me have some of the supplies or something, you know?
Yeah. Because he's not suited for the woods.
Oh, no. He would have died of dehydration immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like. Yeah.
Respect, you know.
But yeah, that's, I think, where we'll end for this time. We're now in the arena proper. And we're going to really see how much the movie has to work in terms of adaptation. Because so far it's been pretty easy in terms of that you could replace a lot with scenes from the Capitol. We're going to still continue to do that here when they're in the games. But like the really tough one is the Haymitch-Katniss relationship. Right?
Yeah.
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 So I'm excited to get to that.
I am very excited. It's hard to do in the books. It's hard to do in the movies. But it is very juicy and very fun.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get to that. Any other thoughts before we wrap up? We're here. We're in the games.
We're here. I think my only thoughts are let the games begin.
Let the games begin indeed. The 74th games. So yeah, join us next week as we continue on and we see, you know, just exactly how much we're going to have to change from the books to really get that stuff across.
Yes.
Because I'm interested in all these little details. It's been intriguing to see just how much has stayed the same and how much has changed.
Yes, 100%.
So thank you all.
Thank y'all. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.